I had an amazing dream last night and was trying to remember clearly the details of it. It was pretty vivid, actually. I remember I was wearing a very long robe and I was amongst a community of believers, and they'd said, well, we can't build a school because we can't get the children to come. I remember that. We can't get the children to come. And I went off. They went away, and it was a big. It was a. And then I was walking over a beautiful field and looking over rolling countryside and farmland, and people were out. It wasn't modern farm machinery. It was like Amish machinery, like plows and very more primitive horse-drawn machinery. It was beautiful, amazing scene. But I was yelling because I had a revelation. Kept saying, we failed, you failed. You could not build the school. You could not build the school to teach the children, so you failed. And the more I thought about this dream, it really had a lot of symbolic meaning because the school represented the society. The school is where you train the young people to grow up into a society, and in this case, of course, a Christian society. And they hadn't built the school, they had taught the children. So the more and more I thought about it, I thought that's an amazing dream because that is what has happened. We did not build a Christian society. We built a materialistic society. We built a society based on greed, selfishness, self advancement, love of the individual, not the community, not brother working with brother. A society as far from the way Christ would have had it as it could be. And in this dream, I knew that because it had failed, it was going to be destroyed, and that's what I was calling out to these people about. Their time was up, and that's what I'm saying now. This is why it doesn't really matter about a specific date. It's over. This society is failed because it was not even founded, I believe, on Christ. It was founded. There are many Christian people in it, yes, and there are Christian communities within the society. Yes, there still are. There still are a few. But they're so small and they're so few. So if the foundation's wrong, if the whole project has failed, what happens? It has to be torn down and begun again. If you're putting up a barn, for example, a barn raising, you ever heard of that? And if they don't get it up right, and they get them up pretty quickly, they'd have to start all over. But most of the time, they have a pretty good system for it. The bottom line is this society failed. It turned its back on God. And people keep hanging on to it, bits and pieces of it, but it's over. It will be destroyed. Just because it didn't happen today, just because it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen overnight. The Roman Empire did not fall overnight, did it? Actually fell decayed over decades and decades and decades until it could stand no more. But it was corrupt from the beginning because it was pagan. But guess what? So are we. We are a pagan society. You see, there was a point where there was no turning back in Noah's day, and that's why the Father sent the flood. This time it will be fire. It will be fire. Everything will be burned, and from the ashes will be brought forth a new world. But we can't pretend that it hasn't failed. We can't pretend that somehow from what's rotten and corrupt and putrid that you can build something new. No, that has to be gone and replaced. And unfortunately, war, especially in this day, would be a cleanser. And I'm not an advocate for nuclear war. I'm just saying that's the reality. That would be fire from heaven. Nuclear war would be fire. The most terrible, terrible fire. But what have we done? Not to ask for it. Nothing. We did not build the school. We did not build the school to teach his children, to teach him his ways, teach them his ways. Sorry. So we fell. And so whether it happens this week or next week or not even for a year, although I doubt that, you will see some sort of fire. You will see some sort of chaos. You will see something that's going to trigger and bring about the end of a decadent, depraved, pagan society, so that the Lord can once again make the world new and make it beautiful and make it glorious, a place where as he walked in Eden with Adam and Eve in the garden in the cool of the day, he will be able to walk again. For he who is holy, not walk in this putrid, depraved, fallen world.